Hello, good evening. Welcome to this evening's webinar, which is going to be about a very, very interesting theme, a critical one, by the way. It's going to be about profile optimization. And this has now become something that goes hand in hand with what you do on social media and especially on LinkedIn. So this is me. Vasco Botello. I'm the VP for EMEA for Maverick. I've been over 39 years uh, doing marketing strategy and new business development. I've worked in dozens of projects and I've worked in companies such as Coca-Cola, Schweppes, Tupperware, Encentro, Redvo Telecom, Teleperformance, Computerland, you name it. And I've worked in dozens of countries, funny enough, except anywhere in South America. I still don't know why. Still working on that one. So, there's an accelerated shift to social selling. And the thing is that in the last 2 years, the world sort of stopped. And many companies went, where do I go now? How do I grow my sales? How do I fill my sales pipeline? What are my sales people are going to do? So they started to shift to social selling. And we've discovered that 80% of sales professionals have shifted to virtual selling in the past 12 months. 57% of them, and this stat is growing, find social selling more effective than the traditional approach. So they're moving from analog to digital. And 46% of sales professionals expect to retain their social selling beyond the 12 months. And this number is also shifted. It's also grown. The other interesting fact is that over 100 million users have joined LinkedIn in 2021. So due to the big issue that we had in the past 2 years, the number of people joining LinkedIn has grown tremendously. So a small LinkedIn overview is the UK has 30 million plus users. There are 100 million decision makers on the platform and 814 million plus members. Interesting enough is that this number is growing, day to day. And I believe that by the end of this year, beginning of next year, LinkedIn will have reached the 1 billion mark. And this reason is simply because sales teams are transitioning from analog to digital selling. 46% of all B2B web traffic from social channels is via LinkedIn. So if you take Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those that are out there, together they make up the rest. 46% are on LinkedIn. So if you're looking for a good reason to join LinkedIn, this is a big one. And it is very, very important for you to optimize your LinkedIn profile. And the reason is that you are now the shop front window of your business. You are now the shop front window of your brand. So you need to get this right so that when people interact with you on LinkedIn or any social media platform, they like what they see. They like the brand, they like the person that represents that brand, and that is you. So a bad profile on LinkedIn has the following, or will do the following. It will limit your profile views. It's going to hinder your search appearances, and this is going to happen for sure. It's going to stagnate your connections, and without the right connections in the right places, you will not grow your area of influence. You will not sell. It's going to damage your brand, and it's going to undermine your credibility. So what will, oops, little glitch over here, what a good profile will do It's going to increase your profile views because people will like to see and interact with what they see. It's going to increase your search appearances. It's going to increase your connections. It's going to create a bigger brand awareness. And very, very important, it's going to increase your credibility. And in social media, credibility is also critical. So you need to have the right profile to do this. And what we're going to learn this evening is how to do this. Small little touches or retouches that you have to do to your profile to make it perfect for you, the people you're going to interact with. So, how does your LinkedIn profile work for you? Does it work for you or does it work against you? And sometimes, without you even knowing, it's working against you. And you wonder, how come this is happening? Why aren't people engaging with what I post? Why aren't people engaging with me as a person? And it's a very, very valid question. And it is because of little details that you have not corrected or you didn't even know about them that this is happening. So this evening, we are going to show you what you need to do. Is everybody awake? Everyone okay? Good, good. So 62% of users will vet you or will vet anyone by looking at their profiles. It's what they see in front of them that will say, or make them say, do I want to do business with this person? Do I want to ask a question to this person? Do I want to know more about this product or the solution? What do I get from this just by looking at this person? So we have to do this, which is we have to make ourselves presentable to our audience. So every time you post content, every time you send a connection request, every time you leave a comment on a post, or you send a DM, a message, uh, people will visit your profile before they take action. They want to know who this person is. So they'll check you out. So it is then important that when they go and check you out, they like what they see. And by the way, we will be jumping not only from these slides, but also into a profile. It'll be mine. If there is anything wrong there, you blame me. Uh, and I'll show you a number of things there. Now, a fact that lots of people don't know is that there are two types of profiles on LinkedIn. One of them has been available since March 2021, but hardly anyone has ever spoken about it. You've got the normal template profile, like most or the vast majority of people have. And then you got the creator mode. And the creator mode gives you access to a number of things. It gives you access to LinkedIn Live. It gives you access to newsletters, which you can do, for example, in a weekly basis or even a monthly basis. It gives you access now also to something very similar to Clubhouse. And it gives you access to a wider audience. And the great thing about giving you access to a wider audience is because you get to choose on this sort of profile, on the creator mode profile, you get to say what things you talk about. So in my case, I talk about strategy, I talk about marketing, I talk about sales. You could talk about leadership because you're a coach, about motivation. And what LinkedIn does then is promotes you among people that follow those same things. So it puts you in front of an audience that you didn't have before, probably. And this is very, very important for you to grow your reach. Um, and the other interesting thing is that LinkedIn does this promotion for you. You don't have to worry about that. And until the end of this year, we've been promised that new features will come into play. Still don't know what they are. There are some things, some rumors going on LinkedIn about some of the things, but nothing has happened as yet. But I'm sure it's going to be very, very interesting stuff. So to do this, you go onto your profile, you go down your profile, and you will see this thing, which is called resources. And what you have to do is simply click into switch it on and go in and then choose the 5 hashtags that you're going to use of the things you talk about: leadership, motivation, business, marketing, strategy, recruitment, of things that you talk about, that you do, and you set. Okay. And then your profile suffers a huge change. Um, one of the bonuses on creator mode is, for example, anyone that sends you a connection request, even if you don't accept it, will automatically follow you. So you might not want to connect with this person, but he'll be following you. So you'll be growing the number of followers, even though you're not accepting these connections, which becomes rather important once you reach the cap of 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. Because after 30,000 connections, you can only have followers. So growing your followers is important. So think of LinkedIn as your personal website. And you are now the shop front window of yourself, of your business, and of your brand, um, and the products you represent. Before we carry on, there's something that most people tend to forget, which is locking down their connections. Now, there are two things on LinkedIn. One is people also viewed, which appears on your mobile phone, for example, at the bottom when you're looking at someone's profile, or on your desktop, on your um, laptop, it appears on the right-hand side. And sometimes LinkedIn throws in there people that are your competitors or do things similar to you. And what you want is for people to remain on your profile, not to be taken away by someone else. So you need to lock that down, but you also need to lock down your connections. And why? Imagine this. There's a person that does no work, is not interested in growing his connections and looking for the right connections, but he discovers and he becomes connected to somebody that is a competitor and he's done all this work. And if his connections aren't locked down, this other person can go in and rip all the connections. There's no effort to it. So you might be growing your connections in favor of a competitor. So we have to lock that down so that nobody can do that. Okay. So I'm going to go quickly and jump from the presentation onto my profile. There we go. And this is my profile. So what you do is, and let me make this slightly bigger so you can see this better. So you go where this little photo of you is, and it says me, and you click there, and you go down to settings and privacy. So click on the me with the photo, go down to settings and privacy. You click there, and this will happen. We hope. It's taking some time. There we go. And we choose account preferences. And we go down and down. And can you see people also viewed? You click on people also viewed. And you're going to turn that to off. So mine's already turned to off. Then you go to visibility on your left-hand side over here. You're going to click on visibility, and you're going to see on the right-hand side, fourth from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, it says connections. You click on connections and you turn that to off. Having done this, you are now good to go. Now you have locked your connections and people also viewed. On the right side of your profile, it's going to be other things, and in your to yourself, like people you may know. Okay, so there won't be a problem there. By the way, this is my profile. If you want to connect with me, send me a connection request. I'm more than happy to accept it and be connected to you. And it's a good way for you also to follow new things that are coming into LinkedIn and even other social media, which I'll be talking about. Let's go back to the presentation. And there we go. So now we've locked out our competitors. Nobody can poach our contacts, our connections. So this is my profile. I had a different background image when I did this. A few things that I want to talk to you about. There are three things here that are very, very important. One is your photograph, your image. This is a game changer, and this is critical. People have to like what they see. So you need to have a photo that is friendly, that makes you approachable, and that it looks professional. So those photos you took out at some wedding, those photos that you've got of 30 kilos ago, uh, those photos you took in this great holiday you had in Ibiza with dark glasses, holding a bottle of bubbly, or hugging three of your friends, they are out. Or the photo you've got holding your children or your grandchildren, they are out. You need to look the part. So you need to look friendly, approachable, professional. This is very, very important. So if you don't have that, change it today. It's going to make all the difference. The other thing is the background image. This is a great piece of real estate. And if you haven't got a branded one or you can't do a branded one, put an image that connects you with the activity you have. So, for example, if you are in real estate, something that's got to do with houses. If you are in the airline business, planes, do something that shows people what you do. Okay? Put something in the background that promotes you. This is a huge piece of real estate. And the interesting thing is also that everybody in your business should have the same background. It looks standard across board, that people can see this is the same company, this is the same brand. And if you can have it branded, that'll be brilliant. You can put an image with your logo and with a catchphrase. In our case, we got this one. The UK's #1 social selling and training consulting company. So you could put something about what you do, what are your targets, what are your goals, and you can change this. For example, I change mine every 2 months. So you can change yours um, every quarter, for example. Then we come to another interesting and important thing. It's your name. If you've got an hyphenated name, or after your name you've got PhD, MBE, and things like that, be aware that in a search, you'll be thrown to the bottom of the search. Because if people don't write in properly your name to find you, they will not find you. So imagine I would have a Vasco something Botello, hyphenated. If I don't write that full name, I'll not be found. So that has to be changed. Also, the other interesting thing is, I'll use my colleague, I always use him as an example. We all know him as Terry. His name is Terence. But if he had on his LinkedIn Terence Heath, and by the way, you can connect with him as well, people wouldn't find him. So his name on all social media is Terry Heath, and he's always found. So if you are known, your name is Edgar, but you're known as Eddie, or by everyone, or your name is David, but everyone calls you Dave, and no one even knows that your first name is David, uh, use that. If you want to be found, you have to help people to find you. Okay? So now we've got a background, we've got a photo, and you've got your name. Then is the headline. What's underneath your name? And this should tell people two things: what you do and what can you do for your prospect. So when I look at your profile, I see, oh, there's John, and this is what John is, and this is what John does. This is what he can do for me. So in my case, it tells me my job title, and then I do a bit of brag over here about what Maverick is in our case, and then what we do. We work with entrepreneurs, businesses, and marketing and sales teams. That's what we do. And now and then I will change this. In another module, I'll talk about that we're going to have another webinar. So please do come to the others we're going to do. I'll talk how to use this to also get prospects. Oops. Then it's the about section. In the about section, you should have. Let me go back for one thing. On this part over here, it's SEO'd. So having the right titles and names will help you being found in a search. When people are searching for sales teams, sales, marketing, they will find me. If you've got recruitment there, if you've got coaching there, if you've got leadership, people that do a search will find you. And I say this because on the about section, it's the same thing. It's also SEO'd. So having the right names there, the right titles will help you being found. So start with what can you do for your prospect, and then at the bottom you can talk a little bit about you. Because at the end of the day, you're not looking for a job, are you? You are trying to sell your service, you're trying to sell your brand, you're trying to sell your product. So talk about what your company can do for the prospect, and then at the bottom, say something about yourself. And having all these right names, and for some reason I've got all of these things over here written over here, it's because in a search, and because this is SEO, I will be found. And I want to be found. And if you are in new business development, you want that to happen, don't you? Now, another thing, and going slightly back, also on your headline, if you've got sales there, take it out. Because nobody wakes up in the morning saying, I'm going to connect to a salesperson. That doesn't happen, sadly. So, and when people see in a connection request and it appears what you do, if they see sales, they know sooner or later they're going to be targeted by you. So say something like, I help companies grow. I help sales grow. I help companies recruit better. Don't put sales there. You can have it sales on the CV underneath, but not there. Okay. Then another piece of real estate that lots of people forget about, and that is the featured section. And on the featured section, you can put in links to your website, links to your products, links to your posts, to featured articles, and even to news pieces that talk about your product or your service or your brand. So using the featured version, and this becomes like a carousel, you can put in as many as you want there so that people can see. And by looking at your profile, and this sits in the middle of your profile, they can just click and straight away go onto your website, onto a service you're promoting, onto a product you're promoting. Use this. Don't let it go by. It's free. You don't pay for it. Great piece of real estate for you to promote yourself. Now, there's another very interesting thing, which is analytics. It used to be called the dashboard. I don't know if you remember that, the dashboard. Now it's called analytics. And the way it shows is totally different. Now, you will have access to more information and more detailed and granular information if you've got something like Premium, LinkedIn Premium, or Sales Navigator. And by the way, Sales Navigator is the one you should have. That is brilliant. That's the best thing you can have. And I'll also be talking about that on a later webinar. Um, in the analytics, you'll be able to see on the right-hand side, search appearances. You'll be able to see which are the companies that are looking at you, or where people come from, which companies that are looking at you. You'll also be able to see what these people do. So you'll be seeing that the people are looking at you are company founders or general managers, managing directors, CEOs, and you'll also be able to see what you're being searched for, which job title you're being searched for. It will give you an idea then of who are the people looking at you, why they are looking at you, from where they are looking at you. On the left-hand side, if you click there, you're going to get profile views, and you'll be able to see all your stalkers, every single one of you. Oh, you only see all of them, as I said before, if you've got Sales Navigator or Premium or Recruiter. Otherwise, you'll not be able to see that. Sometimes you'll see 3 or 4 if you haven't got any of these and you're on the free version. But the great thing about it is that you'll see every single person. So, for example, if you send a connection request, you can then double check and see if this person has come and seen you. If you've done a post that has had a huge impact, you can come back and see how the interactions are going. And I do this every morning to see who are the people that are interacting with me. And if they are interesting, I start a conversation. And in the middle, it gives you the post impressions of the past 7 days. It's a total of the past 7 days, okay? And you'll be able to click there and you get these loads of stats about who's been looking at your stuff, where they are from, which companies they are from, which industries they are from. You'll see all this in detail. And, you know, it's, I would say, very, very important in the way that, you know, it's if in your impressions, the people that are looking, imagine I do recruitment, and the people that are looking at my stuff are from a total different industry. I go, something's wrong, yeah. I'm not getting my message through. I have to tweak it. Does this make perfect sense to everybody? I'm sure it does. And then when you fill in what you've been doing in your experience, link it to the company page. And it's important that you have a company page. And we'll talk about that later. A company, having that, you get the logo and people will see where you've been. Now, as you become older, like me, some of the companies you've worked in the past have gone, have merged with other companies, and probably the logos have gone and the company page has gone. But while that doesn't happen, always have that. And check if all your staff members, all your colleagues are doing the same, so that everyone is linked to the company page. Because then this also influences the company page. It says there how many people work in your company. So don't forget to do this link. And social selling index. Lots of people want to talk about this. And I'll just quickly talk about this because it's not as important as you might think. Okay? It's a very good early indicator, but it becomes irrelevant as you become more established. And it also changes as you move to new audiences. And strangely enough, is that your social selling index becomes lower if your connections become better because you're being measured against those. So the better your connections become, the lower it becomes. So it doesn't really tell you a lot. In the beginning, it does. It's nice to have a look at, but it's not the thing that you should be looking at. What you should be looking at on your profile is growing your connections with the right people in the right places. But today, I want you to concentrate in fixing your profile. Remember, you are the shop front window of your business. You are the people, or you are the person that people are going to interact with. So having a great photo that looks, remember, friendly, approachable, professional will make the difference. Have the right name, have the right headline, and behind you have an image that tells people where I work, what I do, what I mean through a catchphrase. That becomes critical. And if you change these, you will see better interactions on your profile. And I'd like now to talk about the business support tool from Oxlab. This is a great tool. You should visit Oxlab's Oxfordshire Lab um, webpage and check this out because it's becoming very touchy, isn't it? It directs you to the right business support. Oxlab Business has the aim to signpost the country's businesses to the most appropriate business support schemes and events. And so by completing this short support tool, just go there, click on it, answer 7 questions, I think it is, and uh, this will mean you'll get better help, you're going to get better advice for you and your business. So go there, complete this, and you'll be surprised by the results. Thank you very much for being here, for listening to me. I hope that today's webinar was very helpful to you. Put into practice what you've learned today, because it's like a business plan. 80% of the success of any business plan is on the implementation. So if you don't implement everything you've learned this evening, don't be surprised if you continue to have the unsuccess, if I can call it that, of your LinkedIn profile. Make your LinkedIn profile as the business card of you, of your business, and of your solution. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I hope to see you in our next webinar. Have a great evening. Thank you.